Welcome to the Fish Tank, everybody. I'm Bad as Fish 80, and we have some more Minion Masters tournament final action for you. This is the grand final of tournament 2v2, number 14. Yesterday, we watched the final of the latest 1v1. This is the 2v2 version. Now, this of course is live on Twitch, but we will also be putting this video on YouTube for your perfect experience, should you wish to catch up on anything if you've missed it, etc. Now, just a quick reminder before we go on, this Saturday there is a 1v1 tournament, Saturday the 6th of March. It is put on by GGToor. There is the potential of a $1,000 prize pool. I'll put the details in the description. That'll be a 1v1. Please make sure you sign up if you're interested in playing. Drop by the Fish Tank stream, Bad as Fish 80 on Twitch, on March the 6th, this Saturday. See all of the action. But now let's move on to the 2v2 final here. So there's a few rules. So like all of my tournaments, there's no wildcards. We also have a rule to prevent wildcarding across teammates' decks. So you can't have the same card in your deck as your teammate if it costs more than 2 mana. Now, two teams we have. Team number 1, Rammer Spam Stuns Incorporated, or potentially incoming. This is Broken Jackk, and Dragon Slayer, which is Nataraja and Dragon. Do we have anything that I need to be aware of? The only thing is, this is as always, a dual elimination tournament. Sorry, I couldn't think what it was there. A dual elimination tournament. So Rammer Spam Stuns incoming came from the winners bracket, and Dragon Slayer came from the redemption bracket. That means if Rammer Spam win, they win the whole tournament, and and if Dragon Slayer win, there is a second best of 5. The good news is we are live on Twitch right now, so every time I make a little stutter or a tiny mistake, which chat are being very kind, corrected me, highlighted my in a very respectful way. Thanks, Stanlon. Okay, so best of 5. Go straight into game number 1. Got this set up ready for you here. Let's see. I believe both teams banned Volko. So let's see what we're going what we're going to see. I don't know. Stuttering like a monster right now. Okay, so we got Broken playing Minion. Minion, and Jack playing Morelia. Dragon playing Morelia, and Nataraja playing Minion. Nice little mirror there. So let's see how we do. Early exchanges just feeling each other out, but we've got a bit of an XP lead for the blue team already. So in these matchups where they are master mirrored, it can be really important getting to the perks just ahead of your opponent. So for example, with Miloween's Golem, if you get to perk 3 first, and you suddenly have a much bigger Golem than your opponent, then you can trade a lot more efficiently during that period and push on. Okay, so Whirly Strat, Assassin plus the Golem. They clear that up. Wolf comes out, causes a little bit of a delay. Doesn't really achieve much. Spear throwers take out any air, and the Assassin's going to work at the bottom. Not sure he's going to completely kill the Blast Monster. He does, just survives. We saw the Golem at the top go down to the Arcane Bolt. But the bridges are blue, the units are blue. Curse Bearer from both sides. Going to be useful if there's any big units, but not really that many big units that we've seen so far. Okay, Blast Crystal at the top there. We see that a lot on the ladder at the moment. Very strong card. Okay, Howling Moon coming in from the red team. And the Howling Moon return from the blue team. Howling Moon tennis here in the Fish Tank. So Howling Moon reduces the health of everything down to 50%. And then after that spawns the full HP Wolves. But that was a better trade coming out from the blue team. Getting their full HP Wolves. Closing in on perk 2 are the blue team. That's going to be the extra arcane missiles. for Milloween and the better spellbook for Morelia. We will see dragons. Dream Raiders running in the background, that's what that noise is. Okay, a Kinlap spawned at the top. It's got some support coming in. Breath at the bottom, hugely valuable. It's the 6 mana card, 6 mana spell. But when there's a big push coming down the lane, you can get huge value from it. Okay, so the Bridges of Blue again. Blue got a slight XP lead. Missiles coming in, clearing. Okay, Stun Lancers are out. There we see Arcane Bolt taking out the Blast Mancer. So we have a lot of accursed cards in Jack's deck. Are we trying to get to? Probably Accursed Ascension. What cards he's got that are going to benefit from it? The Breath, of course, way, way better once you've got Accursed Ascension and got those 70 Spectral Essences. Big Smite at the top, though, clearing that. The Golem pushing on its own at the top, almost dead, though, so it's not going to achieve too much. Nice little bridge grab at the top with the Warrior. Using the collision to spawn on top of the Golem. The Golem pushes the Warrior backwards and onto the bridge. Yeah, we have Stream Raiders running. Could be a battle happening right now. Yeah, the battle's happening right now. Okay, the Assassin at the bottom taking out the Whirly Scrat's corpse delivered to the Blast Mancer's feet. Blast Mancer shredding at the top though. Kinlap comes out. Kinlap's poison, doing a good job there. Remember, you do have the Gong with the Kinlap, but it's a 1 mana spell, so you need to use it when appropriate. It makes any currently stacked poison instantly happen. Broken. We are in game number 1. We check the XP. Blue, as they have been for the whole game, are ahead. You can see they're holding their Howling Moon so they can return their opponent's Howling Moon and trade better because they have the full HP wolves versus the half HP. Okay, so the Accursed counter, 62. We're getting close to Accursed Ascension. Will be some dragons soon. Often the dragon can be the deciding factor of a match. Can you deal with the dragon well? Can you deal with the dragon and everything else at the same time? That's a huge power spike, but of course the dragon comes and goes. It's a one-time thing. Once it's dead, there's no more perk 3 benefit from Morelia. Need to use that appropriately. See, HP, just over 1,000 HP. Dragon comes in. Now that dragon is from the card, the Nearvir Slumbers, Nearvir the Fallen card. You can tell that because it didn't come in with a Breath. Howling Moon does a great job though, doing a lot of damage to that dragon at the top. Still very close here, very close indeed. Dragon pushing at the top. We do have a dragon that can answer this if necessary. They have a lot of HP, so tanking the dragon on face is not the worst choice. Could indeed be the best choice. Not only do they take a small amount of damage, but they protect their own units. Dragon doing that AoE damage can be hugely important. Okay, First Bearer goes down at the bottom for the Arcane Bolt, but that's okay. Stack 8 Golem pushing at the bottom. It is big, but it is also very damaged. Doesn't quite survive, but it does kill the Whirly Scrap. XP very close indeed. Blue still slightly ahead, as they have been for the whole game. Blast Crystal at the top there. Remember, the Blast Crystal does drop a crystal, so the next time you use it, you do get a double explosion. Right. We still have the dragon sitting in Jack's hand, as it has been. Breath at the top. The dragon, 6 mana dragon, sitting there in the hand. It is reduced through Morelia's spellbook. They're deciding against using it right now. Big Smite. Breath coming in. That's their perk 3 dragon, including the breath. Here we go. Howling Moon. If you've got a black hole, you can black hole your own units to protect them against the Howling Moon, but that is not something that's available right now. 651 HP on the red team. This is getting real close at the end here. Blue basically has stormed ahead XP-wise. Okay, they've used their dragon now. I think that's going to be their only dragon, so that's why they're trying to use it very sparingly, I guess. Okay. Arcane Bolt locking the dragon in place at the top there. Nibir goes down. Once its health drops below the Arcane Bolt threshold, 450, instead of being stunned, it is no more. Okay, almost Mana Frenzy for the blue team. Just 10 XP to go. Red team behind on XP and HP. There's a dragon pushing at the bottom. It is mostly dead. It does have support, but the breast coming in doing a good job shutting that down. Okay, that dragon's going to be on face for a little while. Not going to do too much damage yet. He's dead now. Mana Frenzy for the blue team now. They need to grab the bridges and go. This is their window. 20 XP behind of the red team. Okay, we've got a thick golem at the bottom, a Kinlap at the top. The blue team should be able to overwhelm them now. As soon as they've got the bridges locked down in Mana Frenzy. They've got the Accursed Ascension Breath. Everything it kills turns into a little skeleton. Helps protect their units. Here we go. That's going to be game number 1 to Broken and Jacked. Jack, not Jacked. Jack. Okay. 1-0 to the blue team. Very nicely done indeed. Okay. Let's just update the score on our screen here. Okay, so this is a best of 5, remember? And there is the potential for a second best of 5, depending on how it works out. Right. Get game number 2 set up. See where we're going to go with that. Remember, the players can change the masters and decks as much as they wish. They just need to sit within the restrictions of the banned card and banned masters as defined by the rules or as banned by their opponents. So it seems that both teams banned Volko. It appears we're going to see no Volko this time. Right. Now, you're wondering what patch this is. We are version 1.21. This is just before Thursday's update, the Outlandish Operations patch on Thursday. Right. Get this ready. Strap in, guys. Game number 2. Looks like Jack and Broken are sticking with what they had. Looks like Dragon and Nataraja have switched masters, assuming they're in the same lobby. Okay. So we saw the blue team in the previous game tended to be ahead for the whole game. It was close. They were slightly ahead. Eventually they got their 20 XP ahead at Mana Frenzy and were able to close it out. Okay, so the Vortex is going to damage the Legionnaires. Won't kill them, but it slows them down, keeps the bridges red, forces their opponent to spawn something else. Howling Moon, we've seen that a lot. They have the Once Bitten to return that. Okay, so we've got Morelia, Milloween, Morelia, Milloween, Morelia. A lot of wolves here. Very tanky units, decent DPS. Right, so again, blue's got a slight XP lead. They enjoyed throughout the entirety of the previous match. The assassin's going to hit super hard. The assassin coming out of stealth with its triple damage. Shreds the golem. Wolf pushing at the bottom. Nice little bridge grab there. You're looking to improve your play. Just check how these players manage the bridges. They try every little trick in the book to grab a bridge, even if they're defending, using the collision with units pushing each other around. Every little thing they can just to get a tiny little extra bonus. This game's all about being mana efficient, so if you can win a fight and take a bridge without spending any more mana, that's perfect. Again, XP looking far closer now. Defenso Chopper pushing at the bottom. It's going to get shut down. Huge DPS coming out from the Ghost Turret. It's going to drop a Spirit on something when it dies. There is something alive to take it. Propeller Scrats doing a little bit of damage, mostly being used there to grab the bridge. Here comes the Howling Moon. Okay, so we can see a Ghost Turret on both sides. A real meta card at the moment. A lot of people playing Ghost Turret just because it gets so much power out of it, PS-wise, and then you get a Spirit. This should be game number 2. Okay, Jolo push in at the top. Jolo, of course, starts with 100% dodge. Every time it dodges, it goes down by 10%, so guaranteed first dodge can be useful. Kinlap pushing at the bottom. Stun Lancers are on it, though. Crystal Sentry wailing away. Stun Lancers are looking like they're going to get taken out by the Marines, but it's going to take a while. And a Kinlap's going to be basically dead by then. Might get some poison off before it goes. No, it doesn't. That's frustrating. Okay, XP is still equal. Okay, so they tried to Arcane Bolt the Golem, and I'm not sure if they spawned the Defenso specifically to defend that, or if it was just a coincidence, but the Arcane Bolt will target the highest health unit. So instead of killing the Golem, it stuns the Defenso Chopper, and since the Defenso Chopper has more than 450 HP, it just got stunned and didn't die. That's a way that you can defend against the Arcane Bolt. Use your higher HP units to tank it, if possible. Okay, so the Breath shuts down the bottom, but there is still a Wolf push in. XP is still exactly the same, 202 XP each. So close. Both teams have done a little bit of HP damage, but not enough really to be that important right now. But that Whirly Scrat's going to get some value on those Wolves there. Nice Arcane Missiles coming in from Milloween, taking out the Golem. Okay, again, Howling Moon on the blue side. Double Wolves. They always spawn at the tower. They've both gone at the top because they got aggroed by something. That Defenso Chopper's going to shut them down hard. Bit of a push coming at the top there. Huge poison coming in from a Kinlap though. A Kinlap has a surprisingly long range. He does poison damage to minions. He does a headbutt to buildings. Okay, so there you go. Kinlap shutting down. Perk 3 now for the red team. You can see the Golem suddenly became huge. That's going to be big. Golem taken out though by the Arcane Bolt. Now, XP the same. So close. Breath coming in. It's an accursed. Blue team's going to have a cursed Ascension. In fact, both teams have got a cursed Ascension. If you look at the big, very bright green ball of swirling souls, essences, spectral essences, that allows you to tell that they're a cursed Ascension. Plus the big gong noise when they hit it. Okay. Soul Stealer getting brought to the ground with the Unholy Ground. Nicely done. Push at the bottom with the Golem, but it's on its own. XP still exactly the same. So close. Howling Moon from the red team. Howling Moon from the blue team. Huge Arcane Bolt there. The Milloween Golem is so strong. They can remove it like that. That's massively important. Wolves doing some work. Whirly Scrap at the top is going to kill all the little units. And here come the blue team again. Pushing along the bottom. Some Legionnaires. Breath comes in. It's a dragon. That's perk 3 for Borrelia. Okay, we may be watching the wrong game, but we'll figure it out. Okay, lots of dragons on the field. They're trying to aggro them away from each other. Blue dragon is very high HP, but there could be a Howling Moon coming just to really do a lot of damage to that. Okay, we may have watched the game in a slightly wrong order, but it shouldn't change anything. Okay, here we go. Howling Moon. Remember, Howling Moon does affect your own units as well, so you do need to be careful when you use it. Lots of stuns at the top. Stun Lancers plus the Defenso, shutting everything down. Got the Curse Bearer at the bottom applying the curse to the dragon, 3% max HP damage every second. This is just a race to Mana Frenzy. Blue team's got a little bit of a lead now. It's been neck and neck the whole game. Blue team's ahead. They can get to Mana Frenzy just a little bit before their opponents just solidify the bridges. They can potentially take it at that point. Right. So close. Just over 10 XP to go. It's been close, but just at the end here, Blue's got a bit of a foothold. Right, that dragon came in like a bat out of hell. Pretty sure I've noticed the dragon landing quite so quickly previously. My goodness. The dragon at the bottom getting pretty shredded by the curse, though. Here comes the Howling Moon. Mana Frenzy for the blue team. They don't have the bridges locked down yet, though. But you can see there the Accursed Ascension. Getting those extra skeletons there solidifies the bridge position. Golem goes down at the top. Okay, this is it. This is their window. They're going for face as well. If they can control the bridges now and push, they're going to be in a very, very strong position. Jolo comes out, but he's not going to last for very long against all those units. Face damage really, really adding up. We've got GGs coming out here for the red team. This is looking like it's going to be 2-0. It is. Okay, this is 2-0 to the blue team. Broken and Jackk 2. Nataraja Dragon 0. Okay, so I've been informed that we may have watched games in the incorrect order. I will figure out whose fault that was. Definitely mine. Let's have a look. Look at the timestamps. Oh yeah, the timestamps are all messed up. Right, okay. Yeah, we're going to pretend. Just pretend I didn't tell you that we did it wrong. Right. So, we watched this one and this one. Okay. This is fine. Everything's fine. Watch this one. This one. We watched that one. That should be last. Okay. I know exactly what's going on. For some reason the games are not in the... I'm not sure how they order the games. The replays in the game. That was definitely game 2, okay? If anyone asks, that was definitely game 2. No problem. Okay. Right, we're going to go into game number 3. I don't want to blame Broken. I mean, this is just a learning experience, right? Learn to blame Broken. If FDM was here, we could certainly blame him as well. What a good game 2. Wow. Let's hope game 5 lives up to that. If there is a game 5, of course. Best of 5. Broken and Jackk have run into a 2-0 lead. So, could be it. This next game could be the last one. No spoilers. Great game 2. Let's go into game number 3. Potentially the last game of the tournament. Let's find out. Jackk and Broken, Dragon and Nataraja. Broken and Jackk sticking to what they know. We've got we got a very big change on the red team. Okay, let's just update our scores so we know that's right. Good to go. Right, so 1 game all. Okay, so we got Valorian and Mordor on the red side this time. Colossus spawned. What are they going to support it with? Howling Moon goes to work immediately on that Colossus. Huge damage. Okay, this is game number 3. Nobody needs to ask or get confused about which replay this is. This is definitely game number 3. It's definitely 1 game all. It's definitely a best of 5, and it definitely was my fault. But let's just move on. Okay. This is game number 3. It's not 1 all, no. No, it's not. It's not, sorry. Imagine actually getting that right. Okay, so we just did a quick check to see if anyone in the chat was paying attention. They were. It is currently 2-0. Thanks for paying attention. Sometimes you just got to check, keep people on their toes. Right, let's go. Blue team ahead on XP, as we've seen a lot so far. The Harbinger can be a very difficult unit to deal with. Such a long range unit, hits really hard, does have that knockback. Just want to try to keep it alive, keep it wailing away, keep everything away from it. question is, what answers do the blue team have to it? A lot of new players really struggle with the Harbinger. You have two options. Basically, you can deal with it from range while it's deep in the opponent's field with spells, or you can allow it to come close to you and then you can get minions on it. We've got a combustion at the top there. Didn't do too much damage though. Only popped 2 times, I think. Remember, the combustion does 4 lots of 50 damage, including to the unit that is being combusting. So if the unit does die, there will be no additional damage after that point. Okay. We do have a bounty sniper at the bottom though, so that could get some value until it gets immediately destroyed by the blast crystal. And you saw from the blast crystal usage there, not only did they kill and do the damage at the bottom, there was a previous blast crystal at the top that did extra face damage as well. So if you're using the blast crystal, you need to pay attention to where your previous crystal is lying and use that to guide you. Okay, Arcane Bolt can only be used on ground units, sorry, so it can't kill air units. But you can do a little trick if you've got Unholy Ground, pull the air unit down and then you can Arcane Bolt it. Of course, that's a lot of mana, so you need to decide whether it's worth it or not. Okay, so we saw a res there coming out. That statue's moving, not getting too much damage on it, but it is going to start going down to the curse. And remember, with the active tombstone, any units that are the Mordor units will have that green circle around the base of them, like the statue and like the flying Soul Stealer. The green circle's only there when there's an active tombstone. But that's useful if you're playing against Mordor, so you know what are potential res targets. Okay, Vortex. We see that all the time really on ladder. It's a hugely strong spell right now. Doesn't do too much damage, but it does enough to take out the sniper, and it damaged the Harbinger enough so that it will be finished off by the Blast Crystal. Okay, let's check XP. Blue is ahead. All we need to know at this point. They have been ahead a lot in this matchup. It is currently 2-0 to the blue team. If they win this, it's game, set, and match. Dragon and Nataraja need to play perfectly here, not make any mistakes. They don't have any more lives to use up. Breath coming in. Not only is that breath doing huge damage down the bottom to the Colossus, but it's DPS in the Tombstone. Tombstone goes down, no reds coming. Arcane Bolt locking the Colossus in place. Okay, Colossus is going to go down. Tombstone's just activated though. Colossus res coming. That's a good res for the red team. That's the kind of resurrection they're looking for. Basically, a free Colossus. Now, where it's starting to get a little bit scary. Got a big push coming out the top with the statue. Going to have a lot of DPS on it though. That assassin's going to go to town. Colossus pushing at the bottom. Needs to be dealt with. Needs to be tanked appropriately here. Okay, so there again, you saw at the bottom the scrats were used to grab the bridge. They also placed the scrats effectively around the Colossus, so the Colossus couldn't just swing and kill them all with one hit. Had to take 2 hits at least. Again, slowing it down. But look, Tombstone is active at the top. Colossus is resable. Harbinger's resable. They do have a breath, but it looks like the Colossus is going to go down and res. That's another huge... That's basically... That Colossus is on its 3rd life. Howling Moon is massive there, though. Huge damage to the statue, huge damage to the Colossus. And again, the Tombstone's active. The green circle showing the units that can be rezzed. Statue, is it going to die before the Tombstone dies? No, it's not. They just missed out on the res there. The Colossus pushing at the bottom. There's another one at the top. This is getting real scary for the blue team. They are just behind on XP now. Okay, we've got a stun on the Colossus at the bottom. That's great. The curse at the top's taking the top Colossus down. But those 3 Colossuses from the Tombstones really being hugely problematic right now. Okay, Arcane Missiles trying to wail away at the Harbinger. Tombstone active. Colossus comes back again. Massive resurrection there. Glorian's perk doing a good job. No knockback on the dragon. It's a mythical unit. No knockbacks on mythical units there. Okay, let's have a look. XP is now in red's favour. Howling Moon again doing massive damage at the top there on that Colossus. But again, Tombstone's active. Something's going to res here. It's looking like it's going to be the statue. Okay, another solid res. Solid unit. Something else that the blue team need to deal with. And all these heavy units that are rezzing, they're getting onto the bridge. They're holding that lane locked down. They're making it really difficult for the blue team to get any kind of bridge control. That's why red team are streaming ahead in the XP right now. Okay, so you've got the statue. That needs to be DPS down. And then the Colossus is going to be behind it. They're trying to keep at least one bridge at this point. Of the blue team, but they're struggling still. Colossus, Tombstone is resurrecting the statue. Huge res. Bridge grab at the top from the Whirly Scrat using the collision. Nicely done. Whirly Scrat's going to go down, but the Colossus is almost dead. No Tombstone available to res that, but Mana Frenzy is about to tick over. Here we go. Mana Frenzy for the red team. Okay, they took out the Bounty Sniper. They know that can be real problematic. Getting that extra XP and mana in the late stage of the game. Okay, the bridges have gone red now. They tried to grab the top bridge with the collision. Didn't quite get it. Statue's going down. Statue number 2 is going down, but there's a res. Okay, they're using the vortex there just to pull the units back off of the bridge at the bottom, just to try to hold that bridge for a little longer, but it has gone neutral. Blue team are trying to get their own Mana Frenzy, but the red team are pushing ahead and getting quite a nice, solid looking push for themselves. Howling Moon getting more and more value the more and more units the enemy has, but it's just not quite enough. Bridges are red, tombstones are up, things are rezzing. And they're on the face of the blue team now. Remember, it's 2 games to 0 at the moment to the blue team, but this is looking like it's going to be 2 games to 1. Mana Frenzy has been returned, but that's too much power. Okay, we are 2 games to 1. Let's update that. Very nicely done. Mordor getting huge power from those reses. Those big units coming back. The statue, the Colossus, time and time again. Just too much value. We're watching these from replays. Okay, so it's 2 games to 1. Okay. Game number 4. Can Nataraja Dragon bring it back to 2 games to all, or can Broken Jackk close out this best of 5 series? Mordor cannot res a mythic unit. No. Okay, so let's make sure we get the right replay. Okay. Here we go. Strap on in. Game number 4. Broken Jackk sticking to what they know. Dragon and Nataraja may be sticking back to what they played previously. Let's check in and find out. 2 games to 1 to the blue team. If the blue team wins this, they win the entire tournament. If the red team wins this, they force game number 5. And potentially a second best of 5. Okay, Unholy Ground being used. Defensively there, they put it in the middle. They split. They'll take the bridges. It's returned with the opponent's Unholy Ground. Haunting Hugger. Remember the Hugger, every time it gets a kill, it is going to start adding to your accursed counter. Spectral Essence is getting that towards 70. As soon as you get to 70, you get the bonus with the accursed cards. The ones that have the appropriate additions to them. Spare at the bottom, doing a lot of good work, keeping that bridge. See the accursed deck again from Jack. It's so strong when the accursed ascension drops. Going for the heal at the bottom with the heal puff, doesn't really get anything. This was a bridge grab. Remember, puffs all spawn at the tower now, including the wizard puff. Okay. The top's looking better for the red team. The bottom's looking better for the blue team. A little bit of trading going on here. The wolf from the blue team there. DPSing nicely, but it does go down. Legionnaires pushing with the Grenadiers support. I pronounce that really weirdly. Okay, so again, you see the bridge grab at the top with the Unholy Ground. Very versatile spell. Okay, Howling Moon, we've seen that time and time again. It's such a good deterrent against the big units. Plus you get those two strong werewolves. Huge explosion at the bottom. Werewolf survives. Hugely important. Keeps that bridge. Okay, so again, you see the heal puff moving in at the bottom. Unlikely to get much value. Frost Feather Flyby comes in, takes the heal puff, and takes the bridge back. That's a nice use of the flyby. They do count as minions as they come in, so you can use them to take the bridges if they come in at the right time. Okay, so the blue team's ahead on XP right now. They do have the bridges, so that's going to increase slightly for a little bit. Seeing these golems trade against each other. Grenadier getting a good hit in. Doesn't quite do enough to survive, but it does kill everything at the bottom and the bridge stays blue. Spirit drops from the ghost turret, drops onto the marine. That's going to make it a little bit more difficult to deal with. All the rage from the sunburn coming in. We've got an enraged werewolf now. It looks like it's going to get stunned. Legionnaires are going to come and mop this up. Blue team's got about a 20 XP lead though, so that's not to be laughed at this moment. Okay. Halloween's golem's going to die. It is supported, but it's supported behind and it's already perished. Right. Unholy ground, you see at the bottom there, bring in that propeller scrat down so it can be dealt with. Great work from the Grenadier, but he gets taken out by the Frost Feather Flyby. And a Kinlap spawned at the top. Looks like he may have tried to grab the bridge, didn't quite get it. He's going to be enraged. Remember, the sunburn does enrage everything, friend and foe, as well as do 10 times 10 damage to it. Okay, that's some damage to the red team there, using the blood pact on the blood imps. Big ghost turret doing a huge DPS job at the bottom there. When it dies, where's its spirit going to go? It can be hugely important depending on what it jumps on. Okay, we're nearly at 200 XP for the blue team. They've got a 10 XP lead. It is very close. We've seen pretty much most of these games, XP's been very close the whole time. Okay, propeller scrats, blood imps spawned at the bottom. Soul Stealer's going to go to work on them. Take a little longer to kill the one with the spirit. That's more face damage on the red team. Red team's down under 2,000 HP now. Trying to get the most value out of that Soul Stealer as possible. Frost Feather Flyby comes in. Some hits face. Some hits the golem. You've got to target that very specifically because sometimes you're trying to kill things and if all the owls don't hit the right thing, then you don't get the result that you're looking for. Howling Moon Tennis once again. Arcane Missiles missing that werewolf at the bottom there. Right. Let's see what we can do at the bottom. Cursed Ascension for both teams. Blue team's ahead on XP though. The reminder, it is 2 games to 1 to the blue team. We've got a thick golem at the top. We've got a thick, healthy golem on a golem at the bottom. Okay, so there you can see the breath at the top. Killing everything. It did take the bridge with the skeletons, forced its opponents to spend more mana. That's sufficient. Right, using the unholy ground at the bottom there just to help try to protect that golem. Maybe tank a few hits on the skeletons. That's exactly what happens. It's playing interference. Shock Rock comes in. Here comes a breath though, plus Nirveer. This is a big push at the bottom. It's a shame that the Mana Golem is just ahead of the dragon. You don't really want that to be there. You want the dragon to be tanking it. Ah, that's a huge, huge use of the Howling Moon, and it is returned. Right, here we go. Push for the red team. They are on their last life, remember. Breath comes in, shutting the bottom down a little bit. Those skellies popping from the Accursed Ascension Breath. Just being a pain, keeping that dragon aggro. There was 2 tiny skellies that kept that dragon aggro for maybe 10 seconds. That's perfect. Okay, red ahead on XP now. They were behind for a long time, but they've come back and now they're pushing. Big golem at the top. Tried to grab the bridge, did the blue team. They had to spawn some extra mana to get it. They know they're behind on XP. They can't just sit back and take the bridges when it's convenient. They've got to take them as soon as possible. And that pressure means that you're forcing stuff You're taking bridges when it's not really the most mana efficient thing to do. Okay, breath comes in. Dragon's aggroed on face. Is it? Looks like it isn't. Okay, Dragon's not aggroed on face. Thought it might hit face and the other dragon. Didn't quite do so. Okay, red dragon goes down. Howling Moon does a good job on everything though. Now this is a bit of a power situation for the blue team. If they can make use, the rage comes in from the sunburn. Does do some damage, but it has raged those units considerably. Okay, the stun lancers are going to be a problem at the bottom. Dragon at the top's going down pretty quickly. The breath plus the DPS of the turret just being too much for it. Okay, Dragon has been removed. That is Dragon the minion, not Dragon the master. The minion master. Okay. Blue, well ahead on XP. All they need to do... Sorry, red, sorry. Well ahead on XP. All they need to do is control one bridge plus the second bridge every now and then. They'll get to mana frenzy first. And, you know, hopefully they should be able to close this out and force game number 5. Boom. Kinlap really not getting too much value at the bottom there. It's mostly dead already. Golem's trading at the top. The red golem does stay alive. Does take the bridge. There we go. Mana XP for the red team. 20 XP behind. We saw this situation reversed previously. Red just need to grab the bridges, solidify their position, and just utilize their mana advantage. Close out the game. Can they do so? Blue still 12 XP away. Bridges really being contested right now, but they are red. Going slightly for face. That's going to be a huge breath at the top. It's going to drop a lot of skeletons. And that's going to make the bridge a bit of a pain to deal with. Dragon pushing at the bottom. Neve's going to get shut down. Howling Moon does a great job on it. Here comes the breath. Mana frenzy for both teams, though. This is getting a little bit epic. Red team going for face, though. They've got the control of the bridges. They should have the extra mana. Using the Unholy Ground deep on face to do some damage. Keep the masters busy. Force their opponents to spend mana defensively, deep defensively. That's only going to increase their mana control of the game. Big push at the top. Breath comes in. The breath in this situation is huge. Doing massive damage to everything, but the blue team losing on their base. The amount of HP they've got dropping every little push, and eventually it's looking like it's going to probably be too much. Can they come back? We've got a heal puff at the bottom for the red team. Just adding insult to injury there. That golem's doing a great job, but it's going to be a little bit too much. Oh no, it's still pushing. It's got the Whirly Scrap to help clear. Here we go. They're still going for face of the red team. Nothing there to block the missiles. 106 HP. Dragon comes in. Breath at the top. Again, the breath in these situations is huge, but we've got the crystal on the face. That's game number 4 to the red team. They have tied things up. 2 games all. Wow. These games have all been very close indeed. That one just going to the red team. Just again getting to mana frenzy first. Just able to tick over the line. Okay. So let's take stock of where we are. 2 games all. This is game number 5. If Broken and Jackk win it, the blue team, that's the end of the tournament. They are the winners. If Dragon Slayer, Nataraja and Dragon, if they win it, then there is going to be a second best of 5 to determine who is going to. Yes, we did get the stream boost. Right, here we go. Let's set up the final game. Let's make sure we get this in the right order. Okay, so this is that one. This is the one we need. Okay. Game number 5. Looks like Broken and Jackk are going to play what they've played the whole time. Dragon and Nataraja look like they could be playing similar as well. No spoilers! 2 games all! Who's going to win the final game? Potentially win the tournament or force the second best of 5? Let's find out! Broken and Jackk on the blue team. Dragon and Nataraja on the red team. No room for any kind of mistakes right now. Both teams have got to play hugely efficiently. Get some perfect plays. No big deal. This could decide it. Indeed. Howling Moon, we've seen that time and time again from both teams, which is huge. And the team that uses it second gets such a worse trade out of it. Kinlap being used on both. Kinlap pushing at the top. It does do a splash damage. Smite comes in. That's a huge smite. It's an activated smite as well, so it has the Holy Fire to help do extra damage as well as heal any friendly units. That's some decent face damage onto the blue team there. 2295 HP. The Kinlap at the bottom getting really stuck on that bridge. Trying to trade. Okay, the bridge goes red for a second at the bottom. That meant that they had to force some extra mana to take it back. Okay, Unholy Ground. Seen a lot. Blastmaster's going to do a good job at the bottom there. Damage to the Blastmaster coming in from the Morelia spellbook. Getting a little heal onto the blue team as well. The key to being a good Morelia player is knowing all of the options in your spellbook and knowing when to use them. Do you want the skeletons? Do you want the spell reduction? Do you want the spirits, or do you want the soul, the slight damage stroke heal, spirit drain? It's the most appropriately, and you will prosper. Spellbook is on a cooldown, so it's not a card in your deck. It is on a cooldown, so want to use it as quickly as possible to get it as often as possible. A massive Blast Crystal there from the blue team, sorry, taking out a lot of the Legionnaires. Blast Crystal, of course, dropped, ready for the next one. Arcane Bolt takes out the Mana Golem. Blue's got a big XP lead right now. Remember, this is game number 5 of potentially the only best of 5. If the blue team win this, they do take the tournament. Both teams, both players playing very well. Very little to choose between them. Blue team did go into a 2-0 lead. The red team's brought them back. And here we are in game number 5. Okay, so now since the blue team's got a bit of XP lead, they don't need to force the bridges too much. They want to take the bridges, but they have the ability to be more efficient and choose when they want to grab them. Don't have to force them inefficiently. Okay. Bit of damage coming out of the bottom from the Vortex, but it's there just to really pull those units away from the bridge, keep the bridge red for a small amount of time. Okay, huge Blast Crystal. Wolf does spawn though. That was a double Blast Crystal, I think, from the previous one that was sitting there. They don't spawn, the Blast Crystals don't explode at identically the same time. One does go before the other, so you don't get a huge single damage. You do get 2 separate damages. That's why the Wolf was able to spawn in that situation. Okay, 30 XP behind of the red team. Not a good position to be in. Blue team's going to get there. Going to get their perk 3s way sooner. Potentially be able to lock down this series. Let's find out. Got the Whirly Scrap being supported there. The Mana Golem, but the Mana Golem just gets shredded by the Arcane Bolt.
Silence.
Such a good card now, the Arcane Bolt. Have adjusted it recently. It's seen a lot more play. Okay, here we go. First dragon for the red team, but as straight away the Howling Moon comes in and the dragon's 50% HP. Now, as always, against anyone who you're playing against, you've got to pay attention to what they have and what your counters are, and if necessary, hold your counters in hand. Wait for them the most appropriate time, like Howling Moon. Howling Moon was just waiting there. As soon as that dragon came down, Howling Moon wallop. Okay. So there you can see how the dragon at the top is being aggroed with the scrats, just keeping it pointing at stuff that's not very valuable. The other important stuff, the other important units, staying out of any kind of damage way. Dragon, once you get used to it, it's quite easy to deal with. It's when there's a lot of stuff going on, when there's a lot of supporting units, that's when the dragon becomes difficult to deal with. If it's on its own, As it was mostly there, it's relatively simple just to aggro it with your cheap units and your DPS out of its face. Okay, so the blue team's got a big XP lead still. Just about to get to perk 3 for the red team. This is a solid looking push. That's a big golem. Here comes the breath at the bottom. It's a huge accursed ascension breath. But the problem there is the soul stealer's going to mop up all the skeletons. There's a huge load there. Just spamming the skeletons, trying to keep the marines alive. The marines do take down the soul stealer. The soul stealer, of course, every time it gets a kill, does power up its attack. Does attack more quickly. Does become a threat. Again, a Kinlap's just going to get shredded at the bottom there. The curse on it, the golem on it, the blast crystal helping. But it's not enough. Okay, blue team in control at this point. Huge XP lead. Okay, so you can see the dragon being spawned really deep by the red team. Giving them time to, whilst it makes its way to the bridge, grab more mana, generate more mana, and then go. Here we go. Howling Moon again. We have no real way defending against that. No black hole. Arcane Bolt, locking that dragon down. The DPS on it, once it gets down to 450 HP, boom, it's gone. Blink and you miss it. Big breath at the bottom. There you see that skeleton popped at the bottom for the blast monster holding that bridge. That bridge stayed blue. The ranged units didn't get onto it. That's the power of the accursed breath. DPS at the bottom. We've got a level 6 golem. We've got the ghost turret. Golem's going to survive. Okay, we're getting close to Mana Frenzy now. 378 XP for the blue team. Very far ahead right now. They should be able to just close this out. Just need to control the bridges reasonably well, and they'll get to Mana Frenzy well ahead of their opponents. Okay, another big breath coming in. It's from the dragon. That's their perk 3 dragon. Mana Frenzy. So you could see there with the perk 3 dragon for the blue team, they didn't rush it. They saved it until they were ready to go at Mana Frenzy. Don't have to spawn it immediately. Save it to when it's going to be most useful to you. Okay, we've got a dragon on the top lane. Remember, they do have the Arcane Bolt, which can do a great job. It's going to lock it down and then destroy it when it reaches that damage threshold. Let's find out. There we go. Golem. Stuns. Breath coming in, trying to save it, but the dragon at the top is down. This Mana Frenzy push is going to be probably too much for the red team to defend. Dragon at the bottom, but again, it's being nicely tanked. There we go. Keeping it pointing away from anything important. Shredding it. Huge smite comes in. Soul Stealer at the top just feeding. Okay, remember 2 games all. Blue team looking to close out the tournament here if they can take it. They're ahead on XP. They're at Mana Frenzy. They're ahead on HP. DPS coming out on the face. Red team is wilting under this pressure. This is going to be too much. This is going to be the game. This is going to be game number 5. This is going to be series 3 games to 2 for the blue team. They just need to close it out. Broken and Jackk about to win the tournament. There we go. Broken and Jackk have won the tournament by 3 games to 2 in the final. An enthralling match. They took a 2-0 lead. Nataraja and Dragon coming back, forcing that 2-game all position, forcing that game number 5. But in the end, Broken and Jackk were just too strong. They were in control of that last game. They were well ahead on XP. Got to Mana Frenzy super far ahead of their opponents, and there's just no way that you can hold on against Mana Frenzy for that long in that particular matchup. Nice plays by everyone, of course. Both teams, both players on each team playing very well indeed. Big shout out to Broken and Jackk, the winners, and Nataraja and Dragon, the runners-up. Big shout out to everybody getting involved in the tournament. Thanks to the admins. 2v2, that is Anno Arinkas. Deadshot helping out as always. Thanks to Beta Dwarf for supporting the tournament, providing this awesome game. And let me remind you, this Saturday, March the 6th, there is going to be a $1,000 potential prize pool tournament hosted by GGToor. It is going to be live here on the Fish Tank, so make sure you tune in on Twitch TV, twitch.tv/badasAfish80 this Saturday, March the 6th. Registrations are open, so if you're interested in competing for some money for in-game prizes, check it out. See if it's for you. Doesn't matter if you're a new player. There's a lot that can be learned from playing in tournaments. Make friends. You can learn strategies. You can get tournament experience. And just by entering the tournament, you are supporting the tournament scene of the game that we all love. Okay, so, and also a reminder, this Thursday, Outlandish Operations, brand new expansion featuring new Outlander stuff. New mechanics. We've got the Marks mechanic. We've got the Outlander tech mechanic. We've got some new cards. There's a new master being teased at some point during this 3-month expansion. We'll see if we find it. But a big shout out, of course, to everybody in the Minion Masters community. Thanks for being awesome. My name's been Bad as a Fish 80. I'll see you again soon in the fish tank. Take care. Bye.